good morning from Christmas Mickey Mouse. This still cracks me up that we didn't even mean for this to happen. And it's there. Anyway, good morning. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 17. If you haven't figured it out yet, we decided to skip Day 16. And it's a long story. I mean, it's not that long, but we basically decided, it was like halfway through the day, and we kind of looked at each other, and I was like, have you vlogged at all? And she's like, no. And neither one of us had vlogged. We were like, why don't we just take the day off? It'll be nice to have one day off. Plus, then yesterday evening, we went to go see Wicked, finally. So we'll talk about that later. We were like, that's kind of our whole day between not filming very much in the morning and then going to see Wicked. But all that said, to try to not confuse people, we're going to title this one Day 16 and 17, even though we didn't really film it all yesterday. But yeah, that way, if people are searching for it.
Like, wait, did I miss one day? If you know what I mean.
Right, exactly. So this is going to say 16 and 17, so if people are looking for it, they'll be able to find Day 16.
You'll know that you're complete.
Anyway.
That's how I would have a tension headache for that.
That's what you were saying. Like, we got to have every day of it. Anyway. So, long story short, I know way too late for that. Let's get going and let's have a great day today. Every single time that I wear a full zip-up hoodie, without fail, there's one very, very random specific reference that I always think of. It's in Modern Family when Phil is wearing a girl's zip-up hoodie, and he's wearing it like the whole episode, and everyone's like trying to convince him that it's a girl's. He's like, it's not a girl's one. And then at the very end, like when the credits are rolling, he's like talking on the phone. He's like, Dylan, my main man. And then a girl walks by him wearing the exact same one, and there's something, he like puts the phone in his mouth. And it's like, yeah, that's right. And the idea of him like putting the phone in his mouth, like he's convinced the whole episode that it's not a girl's one, and then him just weirdly putting his phone in his mouth, taking it off and throwing it away. It's so funny to me. It just doesn't miss a beat. I don't know why. I just can't. Every time, that's what I think of.
That is definitely one of the best characters in Modern Family. Okay. So we had guests over the other day, right? And so we cleaned up the basement. We actually didn't even end up coming down here, but we cleaned up the basement and everything got put in here. And by everything, I just mean a lot of the bigger toys that are usually just out and about. We were clearing it out in case we played the games down here. So now, in order to do my run this morning, I need to clean all this out. There was actually more. I've already taken some of it out. But yeah, books that need to be like reorganized back down into here. Actually, these go in here. Yeah. Okay. And of course, our little kitchen. Okie dokie. Much better. And we are about to have the best run ever. Because now I'm in the mood, baby. Cried. Again. That was the fastest 30-minute run I've ever been on. And by fastest, I mean it started and then suddenly it ended. That movie is so good.
Why are pickles the only thing that we call pickles? How did they get the distinction of being called the pickle? We pickle all kinds of stuff. You can pickle herring, you can pickle beets, you can pickle pretty much anything. And yet cucumbers somehow get the distinction of being called pickles. This has been Car Thoughts with Tyler.
So I'm actually filming the declutter video right now, my massive declutter, and I have been so looking forward to this day, but I'm at home doing it and it's the rainiest, darkest, grayest day. And I'm like, what room can I film this in that there will be enough light? So luckily, like, I have the lights out and somehow that sometimes looks better on camera than having lights on, so it's actually really dark in this room. It just, the camera brightens it up, which is nice. But yeah, it's so exciting. So it's coming soon on my channel. But I'm trying to focus on that. So I may not be vlogging a ton during it, but just wanted to let you know that's what's going on behind the scenes. And I am jazzed.
Well, hello. So it is just after 1 o'clock and it has been one of those days where I ended up doing like all of my year-end reporting and I went back and anyway, it was a whole bunch of stuff. And it was like one of those days where I feel like I was looking at numbers for hours on end and my eyes just feel completely crossed. I don't know how accountants do it because it's crazy. I'm like literally after like 3 hours of looking at spreadsheets, I'm like, I can't see straight anymore. So I'm going to go eat some lunch. And then I have a fun little project that hopefully I can get done before I leave today. Here, let's go see if I can get it done. All right, it is time for a hopefully very quick little project here. So this light fixture has not worked since we moved in. And so I put new bulbs in it and that didn't work. So hopefully there's not a like major wiring issue and that just for some reason it got disconnected or something just doesn't work with this one. I don't know. So I got to get up there and kind of figure it out. Assuming that it just got disconnected or there's something wrong with the actual light itself, I can very quickly, hopefully, replace it with this one. And if you guys saw, when we did Ikea, I forget what day it was, but we went to Ikea in one of our earlier Vlogmases, I did end up buying that black chandelier for this. So I'm going to replace that with the one here we got from Ikea. And you can see here that we have another one over here that sort of is already that matte black look. And so I was wanting to replace this one over here anyway, because I really like this one. And so this is a similar style, but they're both just matte black. And I think it's going to end up looking really nice together as a pair here. There you can kind of see. So here's the dining room light, and then that's the one that I need to replace. So aesthetically, I was already planning to replace it, but also the fact that it didn't work just meant that it needed to be replaced anyway. One other thing. So I already replaced all of these knobs with black ones here, matte black. They were silver when we moved in, and I replaced them with these. I will say though, lesson learned, I will never buy square knobs again, because if they are even slightly off, they look like they're unlevel. And there's a little thing that like is supposed to hold them in place, but anyway, so square knobs, I don't think I'm going to do again in the future. I'm going to always stick to like round or something like that. But anyway, we already had about half of what I needed because we use these down in our basement too, so that's why I did it. And then I just replaced the rest of them here. But then I have matte black handles here. I've already replaced all the door knobs downstairs and some of them upstairs, and I actually bought the one for this. I need to replace that too. And I've already bought the sink because this one's broken. And so I'm actually going to replace this faucet and this whole system here too. I don't know if I'll have time to do that during Vlogmas or not, but if I do, I'll definitely film that. So then everything in here will sort of have that matte black feel. And I also already replaced the ceiling fans. There's 3 upstairs and 1 downstairs. Those are all matte black as well. So now everything will sort of be that same matte black aesthetic. All right, so it's showing there's power there, so we'll give it a try. I don't know, maybe something was just wrong with the old one. Well, I hate to be anticlimactic, but it's still not working. I'm not quite sure. I threw a bulb in there before I went any further just to make sure that it was going to work, and it does not. So I got to do some more tinkering and figuring this out. I'll try and figure it out during Vlogmas so that way you're not left with a tension headache by it not being done. But I will say that even though it's not fully up yet, I already like it better, so that's exciting. But yeah, I gotta figure out what's going on with the wiring. But anyway, it's time for me to go, so I'm gonna leave this as it is for today, and then I'll pick it up. Hopefully, I'll have some more time later this week.
We are watching The Lion King, which makes me so happy.
So we were looking at our kind of schedule for the next week, and things got shuffled around with when our like families' Christmases are this year. So it's completely different than we've ever done it. But that just means we're kind of adjusting how we do things. So we're like, all right, we need to get into Christmas cooking mode or Christmas cookies. And we really just haven't. And we really only have tonight and maybe tomorrow night to cook some. So I may do some during the day this week, just depending on how the schedule works. One though that we don't usually make, we think we might this year, is snickerdoodles. So I'm using, I don't know if I'll make it tonight or not, because it did say best to, like some of them, it'll say like, you can refrigerate or you could, keep them frozen and bake them when you want them, that kind of thing. This one particularly says they're best when baked the day the dough is made. So my point is I might wait another day or two because we have a cookie exchange coming up in a couple of, like this weekend. So I'm like, I don't want to make them too soon. But snickerdoodles, I love. Tyler said he's never had them. I find that really hard to believe, but I'm like, oh my gosh, you would love that. I mean, come on, snickerdoodles. So we might do that in place of my beloved ginger molasses cookies. We'll see. We're going to do our Thin Mints though, and that might be something we do today. I might have to go out to the store to get, if we do it, I definitely need to go to the store to get melting chocolate. And it's already like 5, so it's, But anyway, maybe that, maybe this. My spritz cookies, I need to look at the actual recipe because that was one we could probably get done today. And we'll see. Also, this is I ordered this on Target's website because I couldn't find it in stock, but there's a ton of the powdered. It's like one of them opened or something, and it is absolutely everywhere. But it's like white. It doesn't even make any sense. So anyway, these are so good if you like flavored coffee. There's no sweetness in it, but I talked about it a while ago. Anyway, so I'm gonna make, even though it's late, getting crazy, Tyler and I are gonna have. Did you wanted a cup of this too?
Mm-hmm.
'Tis the season. Do you hear the jingle bells?
Okay, so I don't know if I actually showed it, but we did end up buying this clock at Ikea the other day. And since I feel like I had to leave my other project unfinished, I will at least finish this one for you guys here today. So I'm going to go ahead and put some batteries in it, hang it up. Should take all of 45 seconds. Let's go. If I was any further away, I'd be closer. Had to go all the way around. All right, 4.
54.
Okay. And then it says this is, I can reset this too, but I don't.
Is that seconds? Wow.
It must be, but there's no way to set it. Oh, well, that's all right. But there we go. So I'll go hang it up on the wall.
All right, looks good.
So I've already got that up there. Ta-da!
Woohoo! Looks good! Yay!
Okay, this is the one I'm replacing, and I really liked it actually. And I got it, I think, on clearance, or maybe I even bought it at Goodwill. It's got a little. It's hard to tell. It's got a little chip out of it here. So like I even used a marker and like colored it in.
You can't really tell.
But I've had this since before we were married.
Bring it to work.
I say that's what I'm saying. So I might go hang it up in my office or something like that because I really do like it. But
Good clock.
yeah.
So the dough is done. I wrote on my recipe, which I can link the recipe I use below, that it makes exactly 3 trays worth, which is amazing. And these little pre-sized parchment papers have been coming in clutch for baking. So I think I'm gonna do 3 different colors. We'll just do the white and then maybe green, maybe red. I'll show you what I mean here in a sec. I've got my little happy helper here. So this is the little spritz gun from OXO that we use, and it is the best one. I've used a lot of other ones. This is the best one. So I'm going to use this one for the green batch. It'll make little green Christmas tree cookies. This one for the red batch. It'll look like poinsettias. And then for the white, we're going to do first, this will look like little snowflakes. Yay. You literally fill this.
You too.
And if the dough gets too warm, you have to chill it because sometimes it can be a little weird to work with. But once it's in there, you just fill it up and go. It's actually really easy, and this dough was really fast to make, which is amazing. Oh, need to back that up. There we go. Is this how I do it? Yeah. Every year, since I only do it once a year, I always like question, I'm like, is this right? Gigi, what kind of sprinkles do you want to put on, like the snowflake ones? Christmassy ones? That'd be pretty. I don't know how because it'll like push against it, which is great, but I want it to fill up more, so I need to get that to go back. There we go. Did any of you guys ever play with Flarp? Is that what it was called? If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. That's all. Probably good.
Yeah.
So then, yeah. And then we've got the snowflake one. You literally just screw it on. That's it. And as you kind of push the gun forward, it pushes the dough down, and then it'll come onto the thing. So Gigi, I'm going to show you these first few, and then you can do as many of these as you want. Let me get this on the tray. First few are always a little wonky. Oh, okay. We'll reuse that. Okay, Gigi, let's give it a try. It's not sticking. They're so cute. Well, what do I do if the parchment paper is too good? I'm being so serious right now. Okay, it was literally sticking too well to the parchment paper, so we're just gonna do it. Or I mean, it wouldn't like come off. Look how cute these are. I'm realizing you couldn't see. Boop. And they only bake for like 7 to 9 minutes. How cute. This was a nightmare this time. So okay, they're almost done cooking, the first batch. I cannot get them to stick to the parchment paper. I feel like I put it on parchment paper last year. I'm gonna have to like roll the tape. Either way, so then I was like, well, if I'm putting it on, this is like not a non-stick pan. So I was like, well, I'd better spray it with something. but then it definitely wouldn't stick. So then I wiped that off, but it was still greasy enough that it still wouldn't stick. So I was having to like do it by hand, get it off of there. So I'm cooling the dough. I cooled the dough halfway through this and it didn't really help. So I'm cooling the next color, which is green, and we'll see how it works. It's not that big of a deal, but I'm like, why do I not remember having this problem? Other complaint, these cookies are super easy. However, you have to clean out, like when you've used one color, you gotta like, I need to clean this out before I can use green. I had to clean out the bowl. I'm like, forgot about that too. I guess I could just use a hand mixer too, or well, the color, you could do it by hand, but I think a hand mixer might be the move because then you can just have them in the separate bowls. All you have to clean is like the hand mixer thingies, you know. The girls are having very loud fun upstairs. Anyway, let's see how these turned out. Gigi decorated these. They look so pretty. They look gorgeous. The nice thing is about these is they don't spread. They stay cute and small. I think they're pretty much good. We might maybe give it like 30 more seconds in there. First batch came out. They're perfect. Almond extract belongs in cookies. It is, oh my gosh, if you love that flavor, you would love these. They're like a sweeter, I always call them like a slightly sweeter version of shortbread. And they're like soft and small and they're not so thick, like, anyway, but they have that like almond flavor. I have to say, this is one of the only cookies where I think sprinkles on it make it so much better. And the reason is that crunch it gives, like this one's still like soft and warm, but the little bit, that little extra crunch, I feel like actually makes these. You absolutely do not have to have them, but this is one of the few times where I do think it actually makes it taste better. So I'm trying to decide with these red ones. And by the way, these didn't stick, but this one was nonstick, so I'll be curious with the other. But I think I'm gonna be intentional. Okay, that one's nonstick, about using nonstick for the last batch, which like I said, I'm chilling that dough right now. And Tyler is being so sweet. We're trading off with the girls helping because both of them at the same time at the ages they're at just doesn't work. Just does not work. So Gigi decorated hers. So now Lissy's just about done in the bath and then she'll come down and decorate a batch of her own. So I'm trying to figure out how best to do that. We'll see. But Gigi's looks so festive and so pretty. We were talking about what the word festive means. How would you define that to a 6-year-old? I said festive means, what did I say? That it's kind of like, I said jolly, which was weird. I said something like, it's just so jolly. It makes you think of the holidays. Like whatever the holiday is, if it's festive, it reminds you of the holidays. What would you say? I mean, I can Google what festive means, but you know what I mean? How would you define it? That's one thing I feel like with having little kids asking what certain things mean. It's really, it like puts your brain to the test of like, well, how do I define what that is? Like, I know what it means in my heart, but how do I put it into words, you know? I feel like I've exhausted most of our Christmas movies already at this point, which is the first. So we were doing some Christmas ambiance earlier. That's what Gigi picked. But I might put on like one of the old school, like Rudolph or, you know, like the old ones for when Felicity and I are decorating together. Or better yet, I might just play some like Christmas music. That would make me, that would just be very festive and jolly, huh? Wow.
All right.
We promised we'd talk about Wicked.
Yes.
Our thoughts. No spoilers or anything if you haven't seen it. Did you cry?
Brief. No. But I'll keep
Not
it...
even...
No. That made you... That was
Oh, that sent me.
Yeah. No, it was very, very good. There's a lot of people who are like, you know, we've loved the musical for 20 years, you know, you're a little worried about it, and everyone's like, who is that person? Is like, I still loved it, and I would agree. It was almost like the perfect hybrid of like Wicked and Harry Potter, and like it was... The casting was so good. They
took care of it with loving hands. Yeah. Like, that's how it felt. That's going to make me cry even thinking about it. I know it's ridiculous. Like, some of you guys that don't know Wicked or don't care about musicals totally get it.
Yeah.
Or, like, haven't seen it. I can't explain it.
Because it's one of those things that, like, you know, we've if you've been a Wicked person, like, since it first came out, like, it's something that you
it's like
grew
this
up
deep
with,
ingrained...
you know what I mean?
Also,
or that you've, like, loved for so long.
Mm-hmm. Well... So I took this morning, you saw a Peloton, like Wicked run. I don't think I told you yet.
Nice.
One of the things they brought up this morning that really, I think it's a appropriate way to look at it, is that for like 100, whenever The Wizard of Oz came out, it's been like over 100 years, 120 years, let's say. Like around 100.
Like the book or the movie?
the movie Wizard of Oz?
That
I'm
was
sorry.
30s.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
So nearly 100 years. But when did he write the book? So like even then,
Early
Frank Baum.
1900s.
So my point is like, it's been around. This story has been a part of people's lives for nearly 100 years. And obviously Wicked is a spin-off and it's different. But it's just as deep and beautiful and well-developed, I feel like.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of cool. Like what other story, world has withstood that much time culturally? Like how beautiful
like
is
one
that?
single story, Peter Pan maybe?
Yeah. But not,
I think
maybe.
of like,
but
what,
isn't that
I mean,
just
there's
a cool thought?
probably
Like,
a
I think
lot
that's
of
part of
options
why
there.
it's like such a phenomenon, and even was when it first premiered on Broadway.
Yeah.
Like, because it's a story that we all know, but it's, anyway.
I think I only have one note one thing I didn't like, and it was a minor thing, but I really didn't like it. The more I thought about it, I don't like it even more. I hate that they didn't end with Elphaba at the end going, blackout. They added like 12 seconds of her flying away, and I'm like, that totally ruined that moment for me, because like in the musical, like, boom, it's blackout. And I'm like, that is such a powerful moment. Like, she's like flying up, like in the movie they did such a good job. She's like flying up, and she's like, it's such a powerful thing.
So cool, yeah.
And then I was like, blackout, like to be continued. But then they added
They
like
really
her like
stretched that
flying
entire
through.
last minute of the song. They stretched into like 6 minutes, which was wild to see.
Yeah, which I didn't mind any of that.
Yeah, I was
liked
gonna
all
say.
that. It was just that then she like flew over a field. I'm like, oh, it was like that was such a good moment. Like I wanted it to end right there. But that very
I don't know.
minor thing. But like for some reason, I love a good like blackout.
Well, nonetheless.
But otherwise, I loved it.
Yeah, and also I can see, I actually think them splitting it into part 1 and part 2 is a good idea. Obviously, upon first glance, I'm like, okay, money. Like, they could literally get double the audience. But the way that they did it, if they had sped all of what we just saw up into, like, half of a movie, and then there's still so much to go, that I'm like, this was a full story.
Yeah.
And I've never really realized, like, that could have almost just ended there and she's the Wicked Witch. But there's
I don't
so
know. I
much
could
more.
see that going either way.
Either way, I can't think of any parts I would take out.
I mean, yeah.
I guess that's it. And it was already 2 hours and 40 minutes. Even if you shade off, like, okay, 20 minutes of it that you're like, okay, maybe that was a little slow. I still can't think of any, but I'm like...
Yeah. I mean, they definitely could have made it into 1 3-hour movie for sure. I mean, it's a 3-hour
They
musical
could
story.
have.
You're right.
But would that have best served this story? I don't know. I actually don't know that.
I
And
don't-
I
I
wouldn't
guess-
have said that before seeing the movie.
I don't think you would have missed it because you wouldn't have known it. Absolutely.
So
loved
good.
it.
Listen, I've already listened to the soundtrack numerous times today. Listened to Defying Gravity, cried again. I'm like, what is wrong with me? But I'm not alone. Like, I've talked to so many of my friends, and I know a lot of you guys, like, there is something about it. I'm like, why does this make me so emotional? Like, it's not just that I've loved the story for so long. There's just so much in it. Woo! Anyway, if you have not seen it, even if you don't like musicals, I would give it a whirl.
Yeah.
I really would. I really would. Anyway, we built it up way too much.
All right. Anything else to go over tonight?
I don't think so.
All right.
We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.